Halloween is supposed to be the one night when fear is harmless, when the masks come off and we all laugh about what scared us. But some Halloween don't end with laughter. Some leave behind questions, scars, and faces you'll never forget. These are 3 disturbing true Halloween stories. And if you're listening alone tonight, you might want to leave a light on. The last trick or treater. It was October 31st, 2015. A small, quiet town in Pennsylvania. For Ellen, Halloween was her favorite night of the year. She was 63, recently widowed, and living alone in the same home she'd shared with her husband for 30 years. The porch light was glowing, her pumpkin candles flickering softly, and a bowl of candy sat by the door. It was the kind of Halloween that made her feel young again. The first few hours were perfect. Kids in costumes, laughter on the street, that crisp autumn smell. Around 9:30 p.m., the trick or treaters had mostly stopped coming. Ellen was about to turn off her light when she heard it. 3 slow knocks on the door, not the cheerful tap, tap, tap of kids. This was heavier. She hesitated, then opened the door a crack. A boy stood there, maybe 12 or 13. Pale skin, dark circles under his eyes. He was dressed like an old-fashioned paperboy, suspenders, cap, everything. But his clothes looked dirty, faded. He just stood there, silent. Ellen forced a smile. "Well, don't you look sharp? What's your costume?" The boy looked up slowly. His voice was flat. "I'm lost." Something about those words made her stomach drop. "Lost? Where are your parents, honey?" He didn't answer, just stared at her, unblinking. The air felt colder now, like the warmth from inside her home was being sucked out. Finally, she stepped forward and looked down the street. No one was there. Not a single light, not a single sound. When she turned back, the boy was gone. The only sign he'd ever been there was a small candy wrapper, one she didn't recognize, lying on the porch. She closed the door shaken, trying to convince herself it was just a prank. But as she turned off the lights and went upstairs, she noticed something chilling. Her front door was unlocked again. She knew she had locked it. She always did. Later that night, Ellen was woken by the faint sound of knocking again. Not at the door this time, but at her bedroom window. The next morning, a neighbor found her sitting in her chair, lights on, phone in her hand. She was okay, just shaken. But she said something that still makes her neighbors uneasy to this day. She told them the boy came back, that he stood outside her window whispering something she couldn't understand, until the words became clear. "Can I come in now?" The Basement Party, Halloween, 2007. It was one of those nights where the air felt electric. College students in costumes, houses blasting music, and every street filled with people just looking to forget their lives for one night. Among them was Tommy, 19, quiet, studying architecture, and not exactly a party guy. But his friends had begged him to come to this big house party on the edge of town. The house belonged to an old fraternity that had been shut down years ago. But every Halloween, someone found a way to break in and throw a party there. When they arrived, the place was packed. Strobe lights, fake cobwebs, the smell of alcohol and smoke. The air was thick with that mix of energy and unease. After an hour or two, Tommy needed a break from the noise. He went downstairs to the basement, hoping for some quiet. It was dark down there, damp, just the low hum of pipes and the distant bass from upstairs. He used his phone's flashlight to look around. Old furniture, boxes, peeling wallpaper. Then something caught his eye, a door in the far corner, half hidden behind a torn sheet. It was old, heavier than it looked. He pulled it open and felt a rush of cold air hit his face. There were stairs leading down. He thought it was just another basement level, maybe a wine cellar. But the deeper he went, the more wrong it felt. The air smelled stale, metallic. His light caught something on the walls, scratch marks. Long, erratic, like fingernails. He He reached the bottom and saw a single wooden chair in the center of the room, ropes on the floor, and something else, a camera tripod. When he moved closer, he realized the walls weren't just scratched, they were stained. He turned to go back upstairs, but the door at the top slammed shut. Tony ran up, pounding on it, yelling for someone to open it. But the music upstairs drowned him out. He screamed until his voice cracked, then used his shoulder to ram the door until it finally gave way. When he burst out, gasping, the entire house was silent. Empty. No music, no people, just cold air drifting through an open back door. He ran outside and didn't stop until he reached the street. The police later told him that the building had been condemned for over a decade. There hadn't been a party there. Not that night. Not ever since 1996, when a student named Brian Keller disappeared from a Halloween party in that very basement. They found the old news article later. Brian had been tied to a chair, and no one ever figured out who filmed it. Tommy never talked about what he saw after that, but he dropped out before the end of the semester. The voice behind the door. This last story happened just 3 years ago, in 2022. A woman named Amara lived in a small apartment building in Oregon. She worked nights at a diner, came home late, and always felt safest on Halloween because she was surrounded by people, laughter, and noise. That year, she was too tired to go out, so she just stayed in with a movie. Around 1 a.m., there was a knock at her door. Not a normal one, slow, deliberate, spaced out. She hesitated, looked through the peephole, and saw a man in a mask. A simple white mask, no features. She called out, "Can I help you?" No answer. Just breathing. Then the voice came, muffled through the door. "I'm sorry. I think I'm in the wrong building." She didn't open the door, but she could see his shadow shifting, as if he was trying to look through the peephole from the outside. Her heart was racing. "It's okay, sir. Please just leave," she said, backing away. He didn't move. Then came another voice, softer, from inside her apartment. "Don't open the door." Amara froze. It was a woman's voice, calm, steady, and close. Like someone standing right behind her. She spun around, but no one was there. When she turned back, the man at the door was gone. The next morning, she called the building manager. He checked the security footage, but there was nothing. No one at her door, no one in the hallway, no sign of anyone wearing a mask. But when they checked the footage inside her apartment, from the small security camera Amara had installed facing her door, there was something else. At 1:06 a.m., the timestamp showed her standing there, frozen, listening. Then, for less than a second, the reflection on the metal doorknob showed another person standing directly behind her. A woman, pale and blurred, mouth open as if speaking. The audio picked up a whisper. It was faint, but clear enough to understand. "Don't let him in again." Amara moved out 2 days later. The apartment is still vacant. A ending. Narrator's tone quiets. Halloween isn't just about costumes and candy. It's the night when the line between our world and something else gets thinner. And maybe sometimes, what crosses through isn't here to scare us. Maybe it's here to warn us. If you're hearing this on Halloween night, check your locks. And if someone knocks after midnight, don't open the door.